guarded nuclear pores. And what I was explaining to you was that why do we need nuclear pores? Nuclear pores are required because the selectively permeable membrane will not allow bigger molecules to pass through. And bigger molecules have to enter the nucleus and they have to leave the nucleus as well. What kind of bigger molecules am I talking about here? What molecules enter and what molecules leave the cell? There are molecules like messenger RNA. You might not have heard of it, and I'll be explaining it in a bit. mRNA stands for messenger RNA, right? So messenger RNA has to enter, it has to leave the cell. Then there are hormones, there are certain hormones that have to enter, that have to leave the cell. There are ATP molecules that have to enter, that have to leave the cell, sorry, the nucleus, right? So because of the movement of these molecules, these bigger molecules, for which the selectively permeable membrane would not be enough, we need what? Nuclear pores, right? Now, what else does the nucleoplasm contain? Inside the cell, inside the nucleus, it's filled with the nucleoplasm. I've told you this already, right? There are thread-like structures known as chromatin. The nucleus is filled with thread-like structure known as chromatin. So there is chromatin thread that is present inside the nucleus, right? This chromatin thread is made up of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, right? Deoxyribonucleic acid makes up the chromatin thread, which when condenses, converts into chromosomes, right? The uncondensed, the uncoiled form of chromosomes is termed as what? Chromatin. So this chromatin thread is present inside, it's filling up the nucleus. Another thing that makes up the nucleus is, or that is present inside the nucleus is a darker region, one or two darker regions, which are termed as nucleolus. Nucleolus is singular because I've made two, we'll call them nucleoli. So what does it contain? Nucleoli. It contains many nucleoli in it, right? So repeating this up, the ultrastructure of the nucleus, the outermost membrane is termed as the nuclear envelope. The reason we're calling it the nuclear envelope is because the membrane has a double boundary. It has two membranes, therefore we call it what? The nuclear envelope, an outer membrane and an inner membrane. The innermost area is covered with nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm is just like cytoplasm. It's only what? More granular, and the other difference is it's present within the boundary of the nucleus, within the boundary of the nuclear envelope. The material, the jelly-like substance that contains chromatin, that contains nucleoli, that substance is termed as what? Nucleoplasm. Then nuclear envelope has pores known as what? Nuclear pores. These pores allow the exchange of material. Material can move inside the nucleus and out of the nucleus via these nuclear pores. Why do we need nuclear pores? Because the pores present in the selectively permeable membrane, they're not enough. Why they're not enough? Because there are bigger molecules, those have to pass in and out of the nuclear envelope, right? Those bigger molecules might include mRNA, they might include hormones, they might include ATP. Now, I want you to write down one more thing somewhere in your copies. You might not find the details, in a combined form in your book, but just for your information here, and because we'll be using these terms over and over again, I would like to elaborate on a little on RNA, right? So what is RNA? Just like DNA, RNA is also hereditary material, but DNA is present within the nucleus, right? DNA makes up the chromatin, right? It makes up the chromosomes. RNA has three different types. RNA initially stands for what? ribonucleic acid. We have a whole chapter describing it, but just a little information for this chapter. So it's termed as what? Ribonucleic acid. There are three types of RNA. One type, we write it mRNA. M stands for messenger. M stands for messenger RNA, right? Then we have tRNA. tRNA stands for transfer RNA, right? And then there is a third type of RNA known as rRNA. R stands for ribosomal RNA. We will be discussing them in this chapter at different points, and then we'll be discussing them throughout your book. There will be repeated usage of these three terms. So I want you to remember them, that these three are the types of what? RNA. What are their functions? What do they do? We'll talk about them later. One tiny hint about their function: all three of them are concerned with protein synthesis. All three of them, in a way, synthesize proteins, right? One way or another, these three structures, these three RNAs help in the formation of making proteins, right? I hope this is clear to everyone. I'm repeating this quickly up again. Nucleus with a nuclear envelope, that's a double membrane. Nucleoplasm, jelly-like material. Chromatin suspended in it, made up of DNA, that stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. There are pores present in the nuclear envelope termed as nuclear pores, and these nuclear pores are present for bigger molecules to leave and to enter the nucleus, right? The bigger molecules might be RNA, they might be ATP, the bigger molecules might be certain hormones that carry messages for the nucleus, right? So this is all about the nucleus. One more thing that I would like to add here: what is the function of the nucleoli? Why are these nucleoli present? Again, RNA comes into existence. This rRNA or ribosomal RNA, this is made by the nucleoli. The nucleoli synthesize rRNA, right? Ribosomal RNA is made by the nucleoli. I'm adding at the point here, rRNA is synthesized by nucleoli, right? I hope it's clear to everyone. Okay, so we'll begin with the second organelle, and that is ER, or endoplasmic reticulum. You might not have heard of it again. So I'll have to erase this. I'm not erasing the nucleus because this organelle is very closely associated with the nucleus, right? So we'll continue it here. Okay. So what happens? In continuation with the outer membrane of the nucleus, nucleus has an envelope and two membranes, inner membrane and outer membrane. So in continuation with the outer membrane, you have like this, structures like this. This is termed as ER, or endoplasmic reticulum, and these are interconnected with each other. So surrounding all of the nucleus is what? ER, just like this. Right? So surrounding the entire nucleus, the nucleus in a way is embedded in this system of membranes. This is just cell membranes, right? This is just a system of membranes, and the system of membranes is termed as what? Endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum. You can abbreviate it as ER, a capital E and a capital R, right? ER was the last organelle to be discovered. The reason was its size. It does not contain anything It's just a system of membranes, just membranes like cell membrane surrounding or covering up the entire nucleus. This system of membranes, this network of membranes is termed as ER or endoplasmic reticulum. Then there are two types of ER or endoplasmic reticulum. One ER is termed as smooth ER and the other one is termed as the rough ER. You call it SER. SER stands for smooth endoplasmic reticulum, or you may call it rough ER, RER, that stands for rough endoplasmic reticulum. I'm repeating it up till here again. There is a system of membranes surrounding the nucleus in the case of the plant cell and the animal cell. The nucleus is embedded within a system of membranes, and that system of membranes is termed as ER or endoplasmic reticulum, right? The membranes are interconnected with each other, and what do? Whatever material is moving in and out of the cell, that is transported via these membrane systems. One thing, and because they are interconnected, the materials can come out of here, move here along this, and then move out, something like that, right? Materials can move within ER as well, right? Then there are two types of ER, I told you, smooth ER or SER and rough ER or RER, right? If you have to use the abbreviation, you have to use the capital letters. You're not supposed to be using small letters, that would be considered wrong, right? So ER, capital ER, SER, capital S, capital E, capital R. If you will write it like this, you'll not get a mark for it, right? Okay. So, why difference क्या है आपके smooth और rough ER में? I told you that nucleolus makes what? Ribosomal RNA, right? This is synthesized by nucleolus. So what happens? Nucleolus makes ribosomal RNA. That ribosomal RNA is folded and it forms an organelle called ribosomes. So tiny ribosomes are made here by the nucleolus. Then these ribosomes leave via the nuclear pores and they enter ER. Now, some of these ribosomes, they get attached with the surface of ER. Now, the surface of ER that contains ribosomes, this part of the ER is called rough ER, right? So, if with the ER, ribosomes are attached, that specific area becomes rough ER. And where ribosomes are not attached, that specific area is termed as what? Smooth ER, right? So I told you that there are two types of endoplasmic reticulum or ER, smooth ER and rough ER, right? What is the difference between smooth and rough ER? Nucleoli are making ribosomes. We will talk what are ribosomes. Ribosomes are basically what? Ribosomal RNA. Actually, nucleolus is making RNA. That RNA folds, and the folded ribosomal RNA is called ribosomes. So you can define ribosomes as, what are ribosomes? They are basically what? Folded ribosomal RNA. So ribosomal RNA is made by the nucleoli. On its way out of the nucleus, it gets folded, right? The folded ribosomal RNA is termed as ribosomes. These ribosomes, when they enter the ER through the nuclear pore, some of the ribosomes get attached with the membrane of ER. Now, this specific part of ER where ribosomes are attached, this specific part of ER is termed as RER or rough ER. So, rough ER is ER with ribosomes. Now, also remember, all of the ribosomes will not get attached here. Some of the ribosomes will pass through and they'll move into cytoplasm, right? They'll move out of the like nucleus and the ER, right? They'll be scattered in the cytoplasm. But some of the ribosomes get attached with the structure of the ER, converting it into rough ER. It's not just the structural difference, it's also a functional difference. Like I told you, all of these RNAs, they help in the formation of proteins. Now, because ribosomal RNA makes proteins, therefore, rough ER also makes proteins, right? Because it contains ribosomes. And because ribosomes make proteins, or ribosomes help in protein synthesis, hence rough ER also helps in protein synthesis. Smooth ER, on the other hand, has nothing to do with protein synthesis. Smooth ER helps in the formation of lipids and steroids. That means our cells can make their own lipids, they can make their own steroids. And for every cell, lipids and steroids are made by the smooth ER, right? So we have touched two organelles, nucleus, and we have touched ER, or endoplasmic reticulum. And I hope this is clear. Now, in your book, ribosomes are not described separately, but I want you to write down ribosomes as a separate heading somewhere in your copies and write down these few points about ribosomes. What are ribosomes? The first thing that you need to remember about ribosomes is ribosomes are one thing common between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Ribosomes are present in prokaryotic cell and they are present in eukaryotic cell. Our cells also have ribosomes. Bacteria also have ribosomes. So this is one thing that describes the similarity between the two cells, that eukaryotic cell might have evolved from the prokaryotic cell, right? So the first point about ribosomes is that they are present in both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. The second thing, ribosomes are not called organelles. We do not call them. The term organelle is not used for ribosomes. Reason is, or by definition, every organelle is supposed to have a membrane around it, whether it's a single membrane or it's a double membrane. To qualify as a cell organelle, they need to have a membrane around them. Because ribosomes have no membrane, they are made up of a chemical known as RNA. That's it. It's RNA, a thread of RNA, and folded, forming what? Ribosomes. That's it. So, ribosomes are not termed as organelles, or you can say that ribosomes have no membrane around them. Now, because they do not have a membrane around them, therefore we cannot qualify, we cannot call them an organelle, right? So hence there's termed as simple structures. We do not call them organelles. They are structures responsible for protein synthesis. Number 3, ribosomes are made up of rRNA. I hope you're noticing that I'm writing a small r. I wrote a small m before messenger RNA, a small t before. This is how this is supposed to be. A capital T and this goes wrong, right? So it has to be a small t, just like this. It has to be a small r. Ribosomal RNA, right? So ribosomes are made up of ribosomal RNA by nucleoli. In the nucleus, by the nucleoli. So ribosomes are synthesized in the nucleus by the nucleoli, and what are they made up of? Ribosomal RNA. So basically ribosomal RNA is made a thread-like structure. It gets folded and the folded form is termed as ribosomes. After being formed, ribosomes move out by the nuclear pore. They either go into cytoplasm or they get attached by the ER, right? Where they get attached by the ER, they form by the ribosomes. They help in the protein synthesis, right? Now, from your book, it's on page number 14 and 15, and I want you to please read this thoroughly. And for your next lecture, mark the areas where you don't understand it, right? I will be showing you a video lesson at the end of all the topics with the structures, with the ultra structures of all the organelles. That will help it getting more clearer. But if you find any problem in these two topics, that is ribosomes, that is endoplasmic reticulum, and that is nucleus, you can please highlight those areas and ask me questions when we have class again on Tuesday. All right? Allah Hafiz.